Tune into Nice Radio every Saturday at 7:30 a.m. for A View from the Outside, hosted by Brereton Horne. A View from the Outside takes a look at key issues affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines and gives a global perspective on how these issues are viewed. Host Brereton Horne will examine a variety of topics to enlighten, stimulate debate, and explore solutions. Hear the facts, hear the real-life stories, hear A View from the Outside. Join Brereton Horne at 7:30 a.m. every Saturday on Nice Radio for A View from the Outside.
This society needs a spectacle. It might help us to see some evil. This society.
Okay, and we're starting a bit late. All right, we seem to have gone to a problem there. We thought we had Brereton. Let's try this line. Good morning, Brereton. That's you?
Yes, Justin, good morning to you.
Sorry for the little hiccup there. Yes, so
no, not a problem.
We are on the last program for 2017. This being the last Saturday, and I think on your end you've been more or less been bothered with the temperature.
Not bothered, but yes, we have a different kind of temperature than you have in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, right now we are 26.2 Celsius, and the condition is cloudy and breezy. The reason for me saying bother, we know over on the other side of the Atlantic, north of us, some areas are freezing.
That's right. Yes, and they have a ton of snow. I understand.
Yep.
We had some snow here, but nothing compared to what we're seeing coming out of North America and Canada.
Someone sent me a humorous picture of a Jamaican brethren on a motorcycle, and he's saying, well, he just stopped to answer his phone, and he got frozen up. He going back to Jamaica, and that had me cracking up. I tell you.
He's lucky he could even say the word coming out of his mouth. His lips weren't frozen.
Yes, I tell you. All right, so 2017, View from the Outside, what do you have for us today?
Well, Justin, good morning to you. Good morning to all of the listeners. And just to let our listeners know that you spoke about the temperature earlier in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have nothing close to 26 degrees Celsius. In fact, we have half of that. We have 13 degrees Celsius, which is about approximately 55 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's mainly cloudy, but we can see some sun peering through. So for this time of year, not too bad weather we see. On A View from the Outside this week being the 30th of December 2017, our final program for the year 2017, we take the time to acknowledge and to thank several individuals and organizations who have contributed in one way or another to democracy and the national discourse in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2017. The list that we have compiled is by no means exhaustive, and we thank every Vincentian and others who have contributed in one way or another to the discourse in our country. And even though your name is not mentioned here, you know who you are, and we thank you. Please note also that the names are not mentioned in any particular order. And here we go. We thank Nice Radio and Best Disco Songs, BDS, and the proprietor, Douglas De Freitas, for creating an avenue for the various programs through which democratic speech can be aired in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We say thank you to Nice Radio, BDS, Douglas De Freitas, for graciously allowing this program, A View from the Outside, to be aired weekly. In the same vein, we recognize all of the hard-working staff of Nice Radio, including Randy D. and Justin Douglas, both facilitators of this program. It is precisely because the public recognizes NiceRadio's invaluable contribution to democracy in the country, why the public has rallied and continue to rally around NiceRadio and have contributed to ensure that the threat of closing NiceRadio was averted. Next, we recognize the New Democratic Party of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and their parliamentarians for their tenacity pertaining to ensuring, as far as possible, that electoral democracy is protected in the country and that the franchise of Vincentians is accounted for after the 2015 elections, general elections there. They brought 2 election petitions to the court, and the world knows that everyone is currently awaiting a ruling of the court on those 2 petitions. The entire country is given hope as a result of the NDP's tenacity. In the same vein, we recognize the legal team who represent the New Democratic Party in those election petitions. We recognize them for their professionalism and fearlessness in the face of aggression and an onslaught of abuse. Next, we recognize Luzette King and all of the other brave women and men on the front line. We recognize them for being the voice and conscience of the people in standing up for the democratic rights and freedoms of Vincentians every day since December 10th, 2015, the day after the notorious elections in the country. They, the front line, have stood in the face of police brutality, arrests, insults, and ridicule in a call for free and fair elections in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Next, we recognize Margaret London for her excellent research skills, her excellent research and presentation skills, and for her assistance in bringing to the fore many of the issues and problems which are politically, economically, and socially affecting the Vincentian society. Her incisive night nurse program is the antidote which many Vincentians, near and far, eagerly await on a Wednesday night. And next, we recognize all of the hosts of the New Times program for their for their assistance in keeping alive many of the issues affecting Vincentians at home and abroad. We also recognize, at number 6, Jomo Thomas, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, for his attempts at returning some measure of civility and decency to the proceedings in the House of Assembly. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that things had sunken to an unparalleled low in the House of Assembly in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We also recognize him, Jomo Thomas, and his law chambers for cases brought against the government, of which he is a part, including the Otto Sam case, which is still to be fully settled. And we recognize him also for seemingly raising his head above the parapet in his most recent views on issues affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines, issues which many say are created by the very government of which he is a part. Next, we recognize Arnim Eustace for his Herculean contribution to the New Democratic Party. during his time as president of the party and leader of the opposition in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We recognize him also for planting the seed that have germinated, or the seeds that have germinated into a full challenge of the legality of the 2015 general elections. A challenge which has given Vincentian hope that they will eventually get the government that they voted for. And in the same vein, we recognize the new leader of the party and leader of the opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, for taking up the mantle and for reinvigorating the Vincentian youths and the Vincentian people and giving the country something to look forward to, something in the form of a new government in the new year. We recognize Terry Bino, Andrew Foyle, and Debbie Snag of Canawan. And we recognize all of the others of Canawan who have resisted big establishment. And despite arrest, they have endured and have ensured that they and all of the residents and visitors to Canawan enjoy unrestricted access to the beaches there. We thank Terry and the others for what they have done. We recognize Nyla John Prince for her stellar contribution to and advocacy on behalf of women's rights generally, and for her tireless struggle against domestic abuse of women and girls in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We recognize Asbert Williams for his excellent efforts and the community outreach in contributing to dealing with the scourge of domestic violence against women and girls in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We recognize Lennox Lamkin for his untiring efforts to ensuring agriculture in general and farming in particular are given the seriousness they deserve, especially by those who are tasked with improving the nation's agriculture. Lennox Lamkin is an educator who practices tried and tested methods of agriculture in addition to the use of current technology. We thank you, Lennox. We recognize Eyewitness News for their unbiased reporting despite abuse from all sides, and for being a constant, reliable, and regular source of news and current affairs in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, especially for Vincentians and others concerned. We recognize and thank Jerry George for his excellent use of social media daily on his Facebook Live program early in the morning. On that program, Jerry S. George explores issues affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean, and the wider world. We recognize Andrew Simmons and members of GEMS for having contributed to the climate change discourse over the years in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are delighted to say that the United Nations have recognized GEMS, GEMS' national climate change campaign implemented in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a viable model in climate change adaptation in small island developing states. The United Nations is also promoting the work of GEMS in a climate change adaptation as a model to inspire leaders in the least developed countries and small island developing states. Incidentally, GEMS will be celebrating 40 years of existence in 2018. We recognize doctors, nurses, and all of the other health workers. We recognize teachers, police officers, and all of the others involved in the security of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We recognize others from all other walks of life who have made contributions, positive contributions. And we thank you for the contributions that you make in trying to ensure that democracy reigns in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We also recognize all of the social media stalwarts who refuse to be cowered by threats, arrests, and insults and other forms of debasement, and who continue to agitate for a better St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We especially recognize Lucy, Marlon Butte and members of the movement, Paul Ahmad Scruggs, Jeffrey Providence, and all of the others from the War Room, Claire Shepherd, and members of the group St. Vincent and the Grenadines, its culture, heritage, and people. We know that the names are definitely too many to mention here. So we just want to say thank you to all of the hard-working and conscientious contributors on social media. You know who you are, and we encourage you to continue the hard work. Finally, on A View from the Outside this week, we say a hearty thank you to all those who take the time to listen to the program A View from the Outside. We thank those of you who have taken the time to debate the issues and explore solutions as we encourage. And we thank those of you who have taken the time and offered feedback. We thank you very much. We thank you. We also take this opportunity to wish all Vincentians and well-wishers everywhere at home and abroad a happy and prosperous 2018. We look forward to sharing more on and about national issues in the new year. Until next week, Justin and all of the listeners, this is Brereton Horne with A View from the Outside, thanking all those of you who have been sending feedback and reminding you to continue to do so at aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. That's aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. Justin, you and all of the listeners have a happy and prosperous 2018. All the best to you.
Yes, you have been saying thank you, so it's my turn to say thank you to you as well for being part of Nice Vibes on Saturday.